listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors and ex-examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Hello there, IELTS students. In this tutorial, we are speaking with Gabrielle from the Netherlands, who's got some very exciting and very interesting and inspiring news about her IELTS exam and how she got the results she wanted. So welcome to the podcast, Gabby. Is it Gabrielle or Gabby?
Well, it's actually Gabrielle, but everybody in Australia calls me Gabby. So Gabby is totally fine by me. So
okay,
thank you.
I'll go with Gabriella.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All right. So, Gabriella, could you tell us, where you're from and why you're taking the IELTS exam, please?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm from the Netherlands. I'm from Amsterdam, or I've lived for 4 years in Amsterdam. That's really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, I'm living in Australia. I did my master degrees here. I'm a physiotherapist. So
Wow.
At the moment, I'm looking for a job as a physiotherapist.
Right, I see. Yeah, Amsterdam's a beautiful city, isn't it? I love it there.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's like a postcard city because every corner is just like a picture moment. It's it's an amazing place.
Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, I miss it.
And whereabouts are you in Australia?
I'm living in Stirling. So Stirling is like a really small place, pretty close to Adelaide. So that's South Australia.
Right. Wow. Why did you choose Stirling?
Well, that's actually a funny story. We arrived, me and my partner, we arrived in Adelaide, and we never really heard of Adelaide, so we were just a bit walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And with Christmas Eve, we went into a church, and we were sitting next to a couple, and the couple was just asking, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I want to study here, but we are looking for a place to live."
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling us, "Oh, we've got a really nice house in Stirling, so yeah, just check it out. Maybe you can come with us."
Wow.
So yeah, we end up living in a family house.
Beautiful. Wow, that's quite a jump from Amsterdam, from the big city of Amsterdam to Stirling.
Yeah, but I love it. It's really beautiful. But
Yeah, Australia's it's an amazing place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What
it is.
What brought you to Australia? What attracted you?
I reckon the environment, the nature,
Mm-hmm.
the big roads, the ocean, the sea, but mainly the nature, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard good stuff about it.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I really love that country and the Australians as well. They're quite unique, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're pretty laid back and relaxed, and they like to enjoy life. They work hard, but they also like to enjoy life.
Yeah, definitely. What would I know we're going a bit off topic now, but would you say there's a big difference between Dutch people and Australians? And what if there is, what would that difference be?
Oh, good questions. Well, I don't think there is really a lot of difference.
No? Okay.
The Australians like to drink, the Australians like to enjoy life, but we do as well. So I think we have a lot of things in common.
Yeah, I noticed as well. I thought they were quite similar to the English when I was there.
Yeah.
But they took sports a lot more seriously, and it was a bigger part of their culture than for typical English people. But yeah, it's an awesome place, beautiful place, and the beaches, wow, it's just another level, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wow. So you studied as a physiotherapist in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, and then you've migrated to Australia, and I'm assuming you need to take IELTS in order to sort of like start practicing physiotherapy in Australia. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I did my bachelor's in Amsterdam,
Right.
but I wanted to do my master degrees in Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, exactly, I needed my IELTS to do my IELTS.
Right.
But I reckon I did my IELTS in total 5 times.
Wow.
But the first 2 times I just got a 6 for my writing,
Right.
and I needed a 7.
Okay. What
But at
part?
that time,
Sorry, carry on.
no. I just wanted to say that at that time, that's 1.5 years ago, I just got a 6. I couldn't get higher for my writing. So I just went to the university and I said, hey, this is me. I really want to do the master degrees, but I'm really stuck with my IELTS. I just got a 6 for my writing. And they told me, okay, we've seen the other results with the reading, the speaking, and the listening, which were pretty okay. So they said, we are okay with your 6 for the writing part. So you can do the master degrees here.
Wow.
But now I want to work as a physio, and I need a 7 for my IELTS, and they were not really compromising with a 6 or whatever, so I really needed a 7.
Right, I see. And let me just highlight this fact to a lot of students, because I said this before in previous podcasts, that in the West there is a little bit of room for maneuver, especially with universities. So if you're not getting the scores that they say they want on paper, or that they say they want on the website, do exactly what Gabriella did, which is approach them and start a conversation. And this has never been better advice, because right now there is so much going on in the world with COVID. There's universities that are empty. That, it's just a completely different situation to as it was last year. And I'm pretty confident that there's a little bit more leniency and flexibility involved when you're approaching these institutions. So a massive lesson there already from Gabriella. So thanks for sharing that, Gabriella. You hopefully, I'm pretty confident we've inspired a lot of students already. But could you tell us what specific parts of the writing you were struggling with?
Well, it's always hard to tell, because if you're doing your writing exam, you only get a score, so you're not really sure on which parts you lack. And that's why I really like the course, the IELTS podcast writing course, because you get feedback from pretty good educators. With me, I had Ellen, and Ellen was really, really helpful.
Yeah.
She was really strict, but she gave me really good advice. And she told me your vocabulary and your grammar is, in general, it's pretty okay. But I was a bit lacking on the task response and cohesion and coherence.
Interesting.
So she helped me with that.
Interesting. So in your case, it was more a case of exam skills that you needed to improve, or you needed to work on. Interesting. Yeah. And how were you preparing before? Because you said you'd done it 5 times, and each time you were stuck with a 6. So what were you doing beforehand?
Yeah, when I finished my master degrees, I immediately did my IELTS exam, because I thought I'm pretty confident with my English right now. I did my master's, I graduated, so I'm able to do the IELTS exam. But then instead of a 6, I had a 6.5.
Right.
And I was like, God damn it, how can I get a 7? I don't know. How can I improve it? And so that's why I was listening a lot to podcasts.
Right.
And I found your podcast, and that was really helpful. I reckon, I don't really remember which one it was, but I reckon it was about how to write an IELTS writing task too. And it was also a podcast about IELTS band scores, which was also really helpful to listen to.
Right.
And that was, I also saw the quote, jump to a band 7 or it's free. And I thought, well, let's give it a try.
Exactly, yeah, nothing to lose, especially
No.
in your case, which you've already got a 6.5. And yeah, we do the guarantee, we do enforce this guarantee. Occasionally, we will have to refund the students,
Mhm.
but most of the time, we're getting results and we're moving forward. So, were you going to were you just a self-study student on your own, or did you actually go to like a preparation center before you found the course?
No, I was just learning by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty okay with that. The only thing is with the IELTS writing exam, yeah, you don't know what you're doing in a way. You're writing the writing task, the essays, but
Mm,
I don't have the capacity to check if my grammar is good enough or if I'm really answering the question.
mm, mm.
And most of the time, if Ellen was looking at my essay, she was saying, "Yeah, it's fine, but you're not really on topic." And I was like, "Okay, I need to practice that more, being on topic."
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's such good advice because I mean, I've been revamping, and sort of like redoing the online course
Mhm.
we've got, and I was writing out a new essay to show to the students, and I checked it, and I've written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of essays, and when I was checking it, I was like, wow, you've gone off topic. So it's such sort of like a hidden error because, as you said, you could be writing it in perfect grammar, but if you're off topic, you're not going to be answering the question, so the examiner can't give you the points. So it sounds like basic advice, but it really is so important. And
Yeah.
I think as well, it definitely helps if you've got an expert who can sort of like look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, because when you're in the middle and writing it, it's easy. It's too easy, in fact, just to get off topic.
Yeah, I
So,
remember you and I reckon it was Daphne. You also made a podcast about planning your essay, and that one
hmm
was also really helpful. That really plan your essay and think about the points that you want to write during your exam and
mm,
stick to it. Because sometimes
exactly.
I was just making my planning and then I was writing my essay and I was like, oh, but this is maybe a better argument. Oh, this is a nice example. And then again, you're off topic. So stick to your planning. That's also
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Excellent point there. Excellent. I remember when I was first writing essays, just sample essays for my students, and even some of mine essay. I know exactly what you mean because this idea pops into your mind, and you're like, "Wow, that's so much more powerful." But I'm halfway through my body paragraph already. Maybe I can just integrate it in somehow, and it ends up getting more confusing and more frustrating. So that is wonderful advice you've recalled there of just ignoring those ideas that pop into your mind and stick to the plan. So, Gabriella,
Yeah.
how did it feel when you were getting these band sixes and band 6.5s from your previous exams?
Frustrating.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, to be honest, with my six, yeah, I already knew that my English wasn't good enough to get a seven, so I
Mm-hmm.
was okay with that.
Mm,
But it felt really frustrating with the 6.5 because I couldn't really put my finger on it. Like,
mm,
what is the things that I need to improve? What is it?
yeah.
And that's why the course was really helpful. It gives a bit of a framework with also some sentence and words that you can learn.
Mm.
But the feedback was really, really helpful. Really helpful.
Ah, that's good. I'm glad that you've mentioned that because when I started designing the course, I was like, okay, I could give them all this exam advice about staying on topic and, writing with this framework, checking that it's on topic and all of this. However, unless there is feedback, unless we can check that the student
Yeah,
is actually implementing this and is
yeah,
actually using the perfect grammar structures, then we're not going to get any results. We're not going to get the improvement that we're aiming for. We're not definitely not going to get the improvement, enough improvement to confidently say jump to band 7 or it's free. So
hmm.
yeah, excellent points. And you did your exams in Holland, in the Netherlands. Your initial exams, you did those in the Netherlands, is that right?
No, no, no. I did all my exams in Australia.
Oh, okay, misunderstanding
Yeah,
there.
I was already, no, 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 no worries. I was already in Australia. Before I went to Australia, I was just traveling around for 10 months. So,
Oh, I
and when I was
see.
in the Netherlands, I didn't have any clue what I wanted to do. So,
Interesting. All right. And what about the other subjects, like the reading, the listening, and the speaking?
um, well, listening was not a really problem for me. I reckon I had an 8.5. But it really helped to
Awesome.
listen just to a podcast.
Mm.
Podcasts are really amazing. Just listen to a lot of podcasts, and it will help to improve your listening.
Uh-huh.
And my speaking it's also okay. It was always
Yeah,
around a 7,
definitely.
7.5 or an 8.
Mm-hmm.
So that was okay. And the reading, yeah, in the beginning it was a little bit tricky,
Mm-hmm.
more because of the questions with the true, false, not given. You're like, yeah, I'm not really sure if it's true or false or not given. But that was also okay. It was always a little bit around 6.57, so that was
Okay,
okay.
I see, I see. So when you were listening to podcasts, did you just listen to IELTS podcasts, or did you go further? Did you go wider?
I went wide. I reckon first I was listening to E2.
All right.
E2 is like an Australian. Yeah, it's not a podcast. It's more YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
After a while, I was getting a little bit confused because he was for every kind of writing, for example, like your opinion or discussion or advantage, disadvantage, he had his own framework.
Mm, mm.
And there were so many frameworks, and after a while, I was getting so confused. So, no, I lost that a little bit. And I was also listening to, his name is Adam. He was
Right.
also giving a little bit of advice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what also really helped for me was just discussing it with my partner. So you give me a list with 16 topics, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just also discussing it with my partner, like, okay, what are your arguments? What are my arguments? How can we discuss this? How can we see this? What do you mean by that? And are you really on topic? So
Wow.
that's also really helpful for me. Try to talk with people about topics because it gives you so much new views.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is great advice. And did you struggle getting ideas, Gabriella, for your
Yeah,
essays?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. If you read
Wow.
a question, you're like error, error, error. But yeah.
Wow. So one of your ways of getting ideas was to basically take all the questions we ask from the online course, and
Yeah,
you just talked those through, and you got different viewpoints and different
yeah,
arguments for each of the
yeah,
essay
yeah,
ideas. Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful.
And try to read a little bit on the internet, but
Mm, yeah, yeah.
mainly talk with people. I reckon that's really important. It's also an a nice way to improve your speaking part. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so pleased that you mentioned that, because I always say to my students, here are your questions, try and answer them. If you can't answer them, go online and research it. And you never suggest to them that they talk with somebody about it. But
yeah,
this is genius advice, because when you talk about it, you're not only going to get new ideas, you're going to get some feedback. It's like, okay, that idea is amazing, or that idea is ridiculous, and
yeah,
also you're more likely to remember it because you've had
yeah,
this interaction.
yeah. Yeah, and especially what you talked about, examples are pretty important, especially
Mm,
with writing task 2. And I was a bit struggling with examples.
mm,
So that was also really helpful for me. Like, okay, but this is the topic, but what kind of examples can I use? And
mm.
after a while, you know how to implement all the examples, or just,
Yeah.
gives a bit of more.
It,
Yes.
it's quite a good skill, isn't it? I love teaching this part, because once you get it, you can think of examples for anything that prove your point. Within reason, of course, within the
Yeah.
IELTS exam. Did you find that? Did you enjoy giving examples by the end of the course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I felt really more confident just
Okay.
overall with everything, with introduction, body paragraphs, examples, like conclusion, everything.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. You don't have to enjoy it, but I think, yeah, building your confidence is obviously much more important
Yeah.
than enjoying it. So, wow, that's fantastic. And um, just to go back with about what you said about talking out the topics. When you were
hmm
talking with your partner, did you um, did you get a lot of new ideas? Did you get a lot of new viewpoints?
Yes, I did. I
Hmm.
did.
Did you?
Nothing really popped up in my mind right now, but sometimes it's really simple. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I remember something, for example, about cars,
yeah.
and um, yeah, we were just discussing something about cars, and he said, oh yeah, something about safety and cars, and I was like, oh yeah, traffic and cars. Oh yeah, this it's
Hmm.
not really a good example, but it's he was just saying really small things that are really obvious, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh, of course. I was thinking too difficult about
yeah,
topic.
yeah. That's a really good point because a lot of students, their mind goes blank because
Yeah,
they're overthinking it, and it's like I'm trying to
yeah,
find this really complex, elegant solution and these beautiful
yeah,
examples. And then if you get
yeah,
another viewpoint, it's just like actually it could just be this argument, it could just be cost argument,
yeah,
as you said,
yeah.
a
Just keep
safety
it
argument.
simple.
Exactly, yeah. And this is a really good point because a lot of students will get really confused and bogged down thinking about the quality of their ideas, but that doesn't really
Yeah,
matter. It's, as we keep saying, it's the
yeah,
quality of the communication
yeah.
used to explain those ideas.
Yeah, and I really also liked what you did in the course about the tea process or the tea thing. You
Ah, the
remember that you said,
CTRT
like,
method.
yeah, exactly. I also really like that. So before I started, I was just drawing that and try to make points like pro, cons, and
Uh-huh.
the opposites from each other. That was really helpful for me.
Yeah, just breaking it down into smaller steps, I think makes it
Yeah,
so much easier. And also, if there's like a system involved behind those steps, and it just makes it into a smoother process. So, in the exam, did you use the CTRT method?
yeah. So what
Beautiful.
I just did was try to read the question. Take your time by
Mm,
reading really the question
mm-hmm,
and what they're asking you.
mm,
Then I was making the tea, and then I
mm-hmm,
was trying to make like arguments or and examples,
mm-hmm.
and then I was just trying to figure out, okay, I put this in my body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, this will be my conclusion, and then I was just writing it out.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing. Great work. And this is it. Like, when I started teaching at IELTS, I was a little bit lost, but over the years I found that if I could break it down into smaller components,
Yeah,
and then we tested those components, those steps on the students, we started getting some feedback, and yeah, this is how we got to the CTRT method. So thank you for thanks for sharing that. And I love this tip as well about talking through the ideas, talking through the topics. So we're definitely going to integrate that into the new course that's coming out soon.
yeah, and that was also something that Ellen did, because I just ask her sometimes, like, okay, I've got this topic, but I don't know what kind of ideas. So sometimes she was giving me helpful ideas, and that was, yeah, helpful. She
Yeah,
was brainstorming with me.
exactly. Yeah, that's the word we're looking for. The ability just to brainstorm and chuck out the ideas that are in your mind. And
Yeah.
it's a very important skill to develop, and it's not as complex or as intimidating as we might imagine if at first.
No, definitely not.
Uh-huh.
No.
So on exam day, how was it? How did that go? Were you feeling confident? Were you feeling better or nervous?
Well, I was starting with listening, and my listening went really well. Then I was doing my
Good.
reading. my reading also went really well. I even had time to go to the toilet,
Oh, wow.
which never happened before. Never. So I was like doing a breathing exercise in the toilet, like, yes, I can do it with my writing.
Wow. Awesome.
And then I went into my writing, and task 1 was pretty okay. I reckon I had a flow chart, something like that. So that was okay. But my task 2, I just did it, and afterwards I spoke with my partner, and he was like, I'm not really sure about your examples and your arguments. And I was like, no, don't say that. So I felt really awful. And then he said, nah, I think it's a 6.5. And I was like, nah, I don't know.
Wow.
But at the end it was a 7. So I was really, really, really happy when I received my 7.
Wow, that is fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Gabriella. That is awesome. And what did you get in the other areas of the exam? Listening, reading, speaking?
I reckon I have for my speaking an 7.5, my listening this time an 8, and my reading an 7, which I thought would be higher, but no, it was a 7.
Wow, but those are great grades. Well done there. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
So now you're going to start. You've done your masters already. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now,
I think.
And now you're going to. You needed the IELTS so you could start practicing physiotherapy, or do you have to do another course?
No. I can practice as a physiotherapist. Yeah, but I'm looking for a job right now, but there are not a lot of jobs available because of the COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking and applying.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, my brother's a physiotherapist, and because of COVID, he had to shut down his practice. His practice has only been open for like 6 months, but he had to close it, and turn away all the clients. But fortunately, he could still do his personal training, and being a physiotherapist and a personal trainer, you can, it's a really good position, because I think a lot of personal trainers, they don't need a qualification. And he says he gets all his physiotherapist customers or patients from personal trainers, because they've gone to the personal trainer, they've ripped all the muscles because the personal trainer didn't know how to train them, and he gets the clients, so yeah. Sorry? So
the personal trainers, they
accomplish business partner almost.
Exactly.
Wow.
I give them injuries, and you help me.
Yeah. But so this is why you got into personal training. But yeah, so I guess you're looking to start immediately. Is that right? As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. At the moment, I'm doing something totally different. I'm working at an apple orchard.
Wow.
So I was picking apples and pruning, but
wow.
That's finished. But meanwhile, I'm also looking for a job as a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
But I had a job interview this morning, which went pretty okay. So
wow, well done.
Thank you. Hopefully they offer me something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, fingers crossed. And if you need a recommendation, we can give you one.
Yeah.
I don't know in what capacity, but
thank you.
Okay then. Well, I think that's everything. Do you have anything that you would like to share before we finish? Just to maybe for the other students, some advice. If not, no worries.
Well, what I said, like the course was really helpful for me to get from a 6.5 to a 7, and the framework that you give was really helpful, but especially the feedback from the examiners or IELTS examiners were really, really helpful. So it's worth it to buy the course.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Gabriella, for that. And
and
I'm so happy you got the results that you needed. And I wish you all the best for Australia, and I'm pretty confident you'll get a job soon. It's a matter of time. Things are changing, the economy's coming back, so we'll get back to normal soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the invitation. It was lovely to speak with you.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you, Gabriella.
for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.